One of the areas that I know there's been a lot of conversation about is the Human Rights Council, and it's received a tremendous amount of criticism, particularly because of its obsessive focus, for example, on the constant singling out of Israel. So when you have countries like Cuba and Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and other habitual violators of human rights, how does that, I guess the first question would be, I mean, how does that impact the credibility or the legitimacy of a Human Rights Council whose very members are serial violators of human rights of their own people?
The United States has always cared about human rights, and we don't see human rights as a fluff issue. We see human rights that it generally is related to peace and security. And if you go back in history and time, you see that the worst conflicts all came from governments not taking care of their people. And so human rights has to be very important. The reason why I didn't just make a statement from New York was I really wanted to hit that home. So I went to Geneva and talked to the members of the Human Rights Council and basically said, look, the United States doesn't want to leave the Human Rights Council, but you got to give us a reason to stay. Because with Venezuela, which is a perfect example, and that situation's so much worse than what you see on TV. I tried to call an emergency security council hearing on Venezuela. My colleagues were not happy that I was doing that and didn't think we needed to do it because they said it wasn't a peace and security issue. We had the hearing anyway. They all said this should be happening in the Human Rights Council. Well, why hasn't it been heard in the Human Rights Council? Because Venezuela sits on the council, along with Cuba, along with Saudi Arabia, along with China. And so what happened is it's now a place where actors go to make sure they're not pointed at. And it's a place where they have no problem pointing at others or abusing others like Israel. So, what we left them with was something's got to change. Either we can do it here or we're going to go fight for human rights somewhere else.
Are you hopeful? I mean, do you see the signs that there is a willingness among enough of the members of the council to reform it in a way that would allow the U.S. to continue to be a part of it?
They took it seriously. And, one of the items I brought up was Agenda Item 7. And what that is basically for any sort of human rights violation for any country in the world, you go through Agenda Item 4. It allows you to say that there's a problem. Agenda Item 7 is solely for acts condemning Israel. Why would you do that when you have Syria and North Korea and all of these other places and you're going to have one agenda item for Israel? If you have to hit Israel, fine, but do it under Agenda Item 4.
So just to be clear, the UN Human Rights Council has a specific agenda item that is a permanent agenda item. Israel's always on the agenda.
It's just an Israel bashing item, and it's been there forever. And because it's there, they're constantly trying to use it. Whereas I want the attention to be on North Korea and Syria. And if Israel does something, just do it through Agenda Item 4.
And I want to get back